Investment Properties 101, how to finance your real estate ventures. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Jeff Trevarthen, Jeff the Mortgage Pro. Thanks so much for watching. If this is the first time you've watched my show, I really would appreciate it if you would like this video. Number one, that helps get my message out to as many people as possible. And number two, if you could please subscribe. I'd love to have subscribers. That way, you know, when my channels or my videos come out, you can see when they come out on your feed. And then if you really like my videos and you want to see the videos as they come out and get notified of that, go ahead and hit that little bell next to the subscribe button. That'll help you get a notification of when the videos actually do come out. So thanks so much for watching. I love talking about investment properties. It seems to be kind of a niche that I've moved towards based on the YouTube channel type of stuff. I love working with investors. You definitely are not as emotional as just a normal person buying a house because it's about the numbers and how the numbers work. So let's go through the step-by-step process. If you're going to be buying your first investment property, or if you've bought multiple properties before, let's go through the different steps that you would want to take to be able to get ready to go to buy your next investment property. So step number one is really decide that you want to do this. Real estate is a long game. It's not something that's really short term, unless you're flipping houses. You know, those are short-term capital gains type events where you're going to make decent chunks of money. Hopefully, if you buy right and you sell right, you're going to be able to make some money in there. But for the most part, when you're buying investment properties as rental properties, it's a long game because you're going to have somebody else paying the mortgage for you over time. Now, whether that's a short-term or a long-term or a medium-term type of a renter in there, that's to be seen, and that's okay. Whatever you decide to do is awesome. But at the same time, you really need to understand that what you're doing is buying a business. And you want the business to make money. That's the whole goal of the business. Is it's not to lose money, it's to make money. So keep that in mind when you really decide that you want to do this when you're buying a rental property. Is just decide that this is what you want to do. Step number two is to determine your budget. Things to consider that you should probably be aware of when you're buying investment properties. You're going to need anywhere from 15 to 25% down. 15 at a very minimum. That's a conventional loan. You're still going to have mortgage insurance on that if you use 15% down. 20% is a little bit better than 15% down because you're not going to have mortgage insurance, but the most optimal pricing you'll get when you put 25% or more down on the property. And you're also going to need cash to close. So not only are you going to have the money that you're going to be putting as a down payment, there's also going to be extra cost associated with buying that property. And those are definitely things to consider. And a lot of times when you're buying rental property, banks want to see what's called reserves. That's money left over. It could be in the bank, it could be in stocks, bonds, 401ks, all of those different things that are in there. But for the most part, make sure that you have determined your budget. Things like debt to income ratio matters, credit scores matter, and then again, those reserves definitely matter. So that's step number two, determine your budget. Step number three is determine where you want to buy. It doesn't have to be local. I know that, I'm in California and it's really expensive where I live, and the numbers just don't pencil to try to buy properties in a lot of areas of California. To have a huge mortgage and to have a renter in there that's paying a huge rent, but at the same time, it's probably not going to be as much as what that mortgage payment is. So you have negative cash flow going into it. So decide where you want to buy. It doesn't have to be local. It can be local, obviously, and that makes it a little bit easier. But with the way that technology is these days and the connections that I have across the country, and I know a lot of people have across the country, you can definitely find properties that are out of state. Okay. There's lots of opportunities in smaller markets. So keep an eye on those different places. Step number four is you want to get pre-approved by me. I would love to do your investment property loan for you. And what that entails is getting all of your documentation lined up, figuring out how much of a property we can qualify you for based on how much money that you have and your debt to income ratios. And if we're doing a DSCR loan, how much the property is going to cash flow, all those different things are going to go into getting you pre-approved. But that's definitely the first step before you start going out and looking for property, because we want to know what our budget is, especially if we're realizing what we're going to buy a business. So you want to know what that budget is. Okay. Step number five, determine the type of loan that fits you. So a couple different options for when you're buying investment properties. You can go with a conventional loan, or you can go with a DSCR loan, which stands for debt service coverage ratio loan. The difference is, well, there's a lot of differences, but the main difference is that a conventional loan, we're using your personal income to help you qualify against the debt on the property. And a DSCR loan is we're only using the cash flow of the property to help you qualify. They both sound awesome, and they are both awesome, and they both work in different circumstances. So make sure that when you're talking and your mortgage advisor that they give you the different options of which one looks better for you, and compare the two. Step number 7, make offers. Once you have that pre-approval ready to go out and start, firing away. It's some markets you're going to have to pay asking or over asking price, and other markets you're not. You're going to have to be able to pay under asking. You're going to be able to get some seller credit to help you cover some closing costs in a lot of those different instances. So if you're buying out of the area, some of the things that you really, really want to rely on are inspections, and use your chosen realtor to help guide you on whether this property that you're buying out of state, especially if you're not able to see it, is a good investment for you. Definitely lean on those people that are experts in those different types of markets. And then also remember that you're essentially, again, buying a business. So try to take the vanity and emotion out of the equation. We want to just make sure that the numbers work, because ultimately that's what tells the tale of whether your property is going to cash flow for you or not. So take that emotion of buying, a personal residence out of this and just use the numbers to help guide you going forward. Step number 8, we want to close the deal as quickly as possible. You want to, your monthly mortgage payment is made in arrears, remember, so that, like, let's say you close on the 15th of the month. When you close, you're going to pay prepaid interest from the 15th to the 30th of the month. And then your first mortgage payment skips that first month payment, and then it's usually going to be the following month of your mortgage payment. But if we close quickly on the property and you can get a renter in there sooner rather than later, you can get rent going before you actually have to make a mortgage payment, which is super ideal, that you have money coming in before you have to start putting money going out on that property. And hopefully it's a cash flowing property, so the mortgage money the money that's coming in terms of rent is going to be more than the money that you're spending on your existing mortgage. And then lastly, we want to do this over and over and over again. Once you get the hang of it, once you get the idea that you really want to do this, you're going to get excited and you're going to want to go out and find the next deal. Just got to save up enough cash to keep moving it forward. There's lots of different ways to invest in real estate. This is just the basics of them. You can raise money for different types of deals. You have other investors work together. There's different ways to find properties. They don't have to always be listed on the MLS. You can find them in tons of different locations, and we can go into that in another detail video, but let's stick with the basics for today. If you guys enjoyed this and you want to be a first-time investor, I would love to be the one that helps you out on the financing side, and I do loans all over the country, so please make sure you reach out to me, and I look forward to chatting with you again on the next show. Have a good day, guys. Bye.